This is a HeadGum podcast.
You know, the greatest thing about, what we're about to do over the next few days out west is watching movies like these at least 2 to 3 times before the shows.
Oh, easily. I've already gotten one in each. I'm already doing it.
You're going to talk a full 24 hours for each movie, essentially, especially Fatal Attraction, which is like 2 hours long.
My God in heaven. I'm not looking forward to that, but I am looking forward to heading out west with you 3 fine gentlemen. We're going to play some shows here very, very soon.
Oh, that is right. On November 14th, we'll be in Denver, Colorado, talking war games at Comedy Works South.
Now, if we don't get snowed in and start eating each other, which does happen in Denver quite often, we will be in Salt Lake City the very next day. Talking about Fatal Attraction.
The longest movie ever.
Yeah.
November 15th at Wise Guys, which I believe is some kind of fatso New York-centric comedy show.
That's why we got it.
Yes.
Fatal Attraction. We're all going to get fucked tonight.
That should have been on the poster. Fatal Attraction, then just little tiny letters. We're all going to get fucked tonight. But then a couple nights later, we're all getting fucked tonight in Phoenix, Arizona. What are we talking about down in the desert?
Universal Soldier. I'm excited to revisit this one with JVZD.
Yes.
Is that right?
JCVD.
Yeah, JCVD.
Yeah, it's all the same alphabet soup. And Dolph Lundgren as well. So there'll be a lot of fun at CB Live on Thursday, November 17th.
Yes, we'll be doing a lot of accurate accents during this.
Sure.
Pinpoint precision, as always.
Bring your barf bag because we talk about that ear necklace that's going on in that movie.
Love
That's
it.
something you want to be having.
I might try to get one on tour and wear it for you folks.
Okay.
And we might get to the bottom of just how this movie spawned like 5 sequels. But all these questions and more will be answered in our final run of shows of the year, folks. You do not want to miss us in Denver, Salt Lake City, and Phoenix. All tickets available at WHMPodcast.com.
People chicken.
This week on the program, squeeze into your wetsuits and order up 2 meatball subs, because on this episode, we're talking Point Break. My name is Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Eric Siska.
Chris Kentucky.
Matt Christman.
Will Meanker.
And we love movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Love Movies. Thank you for tuning in. As always, that's right. You heard them up top this week. We are so stoked to be joined by 2 of the hosts of the very popular Chapo Trap House, Will Meanker and Matt Christman, in the We Hate Movies virtual studio. Fellas, thanks for coming on the program.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
You contacted Chris to get us on the podcast, and you said of the Chapos, you said, "Give me 2."
That's right.
Give me 2.
Right. You guys are my meatball sandwiches.
Yeah. No tuna on wheat here.
We're going to talk about that for at least an hour. It's just, he's going to go back to back, right? That's not like a wait, give it a half hour.
Oh, no.
come back.
That's a single meal, dude. That's what that is.
I will say the single one that he starts eating doesn't look that big. It's not like a foot long. It's maybe 6 inches. It's like it's 2 of them. It's a foot long. They sell those at Subway. It's not that crazy.
So Matt, you think this is a perfectly fine meal for 10:30 in the morning?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a little early, but and also, you're waiting for a bank robbery to happen.
It's a sloppy food for a bank robbery.
It's a very sitting in a car. Anything with like a sauce, like a meatball sub that's got like a marinara. That's a poor choice. I would go with like an Italian, like a salami or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
that makes sense. I mean, you're shitting your pants if you're running into a fucking bank robbery with that right in your gut, like just landed there.
Well, I'm going to shit my pants anyway running into a robbery, so I might as well have the sandwich as well.
Yeah. Busey's character has been working hard cases for the FBI for 22 years. You think he cares if he shits his pants or throws up on the job?
I mean, I guess
he's.
not.
I mean, he's trying to die more than Bodhi in this movie.
That's true.
Well, he was
shitting his pants when you were fucking watching Reading Rainbow, Eric. All right.
That's true. He was shitting his pants in Vietnam.
Well, actually, it's kind of interesting. What is the amount of time between him eating those meatball subs and when he is deliciously assassinated at the end of this movie? Because all of that meatball sub could just be falling right out on the tarmac there.
It's the next day, so he's got, you know what I mean? Like the coroner will find some meatball pieces, I think.
Yeah, they're gonna have to sweep those up off the runway.
That's when he gets shot in the back. It's not blood, it's all the marinara sauce.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Shooting out of his back stomach.
This is a question I had. Oh my God, his back stomach?
Some people have those.
Sure. Yeah. I've heard of them.
Is it about time for Catherine Bigelow to come out of movie jail?
It's been long enough, I think. Detroit.
I did not see Detroit.
Pretty fucking bad, but I'm
gonna say. I mean, look, I think Catherine Bigelow is an extraordinary director. I have not seen Detroit either, so I can't render opinion on that one. I would say, yes, it is time for Catherine Bigelow to come out of movie jail, provided that the next movie she makes is propaganda for Hezbollah and not the CIA.
That's right. A little give and take. That's all.
Yeah, both sides.
What's good for the goose?
I mean, that was the worst mistake of her career, was like making important movies. Like, these are the movies she should be making. Big, dumb, stupid action movies that are sexy and fun. Like, Near Dark is perfect. This is
never
perfect.
should have hooked up with that Mark Bowl character.
Yeah.
Well, because they were supposed to be doing all kinds of stuff. Like, they were supposed to do that. What's that Ben Affleck piece of shit from Netflix?
Triple Frontier, yeah.
They were supposed to do that for forever, and they just dropped off. I guess for Detroit, which mistake, I would say.
That's a rough. Yeah, Detroit. That's a must skip. Don't worry about that. What the fuck was this Netflix movie, Kevin?
It was Triple Frontier.
Triple Frontier. That Damien Chazelle, I think, did that.
Yes.
And that movie would have actually, I thought, been great if at the end they just started murking that entire village like actual special forces guys would have. Instead of being like, no. Oh,
we've got to get Ben Affleck's body back to the United States.
And we can't kill any civilians. Oh my God. But we would never do something like that.
No. Float Ben Affleck's body home on a tide of blood, I would say. That sounds about right.
That's the only way you're going to get him home, to bury him under the Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, they were like, we can only have so much weight in this plane to take off. Do we leave our friend's body at the bottom of a Peruvian crater, or do we each get like a $5 million richer? Gee, I wonder what they do. Guys who kill people for a living.
But I think, Steve, you were saying how sexy this movie is, and we are sexy out of the gate with this slow-mo intro. Fucking Keanu wet as fuck, just his floppy hair, smiley face, thumbs up to the camera.
There was a full FBI sexy recruitment push between him and Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs. It's like, this is a sexy, fun position for a young professional.
Well, 1991 was the year for cinematic FBI hotties to be having their first case on the job.
And we had Twin Peaks as well.
Now we just have like fucking TV shows where like they're. I mean, that shows you where it all went down.
Like Quantico,
like
the Rookie Feds.
Yeah, there's like two. Yeah, you get like 1 or 2 seasons out of it, and then they just fucking say goodbye.
I don't know. Some of those I think are in like their 30th season somehow.
Not only do they have 30 seasons, 2 a year, but they also have several spinoffs set in different cities like Des Moines and Salt Lake City.
Chicago FBI, yeah. Yes.
But this opening is great. I love this because it's like, two kinds of ways to get wet. Like, you get wet surfing and you're having fun, but then you're getting wet at work because he's just stuck in the rain on this Target practice thing or whatever. And it's that great, like, hey, Utah, you got every one of them, man. Every little piece of paper, you fucking nailed it. You're going to be out there killing people in no time.
Dude, an ex-college football star FBI agent is every fucking dad's fucking hard-on.
Well, yeah, he would be obviously the president by now.
But there is no college football player at quarterback or any position. And look, I'm not saying you have to be a genius to get into the FBI, but there is no college football player who could get through Quantico.
No.
They could do the monkey bars and shit like that, but you actually have to be pretty book smart to be an FBI agent.
I think IRL, absolutely correct, Will. Although this does sound like an excellent plot for like a Brian Bosworth movie.
Yes. Football Cop.
Yes.
The
And
third
it's
Boz
just called
masterpiece.
Football Cop. Absolutely.
I will say though about the Keanu opening montage that juxtaposes him getting wet on the shooting range and a guy surfing the cool ass break. It's good to know Keanu hasn't lost any of his skills on the gun range, because there was that video that came out of him prepping for like John Wick 2, and he's he's cycling through a fucking 9mm, a shotgun, a fucking MP5, and he's just working through this course. Pop, 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 pop. He's a fucking madman. I mean, Keanu, people say, oh, he's not a great actor or whatever, but he's a great movie star. He's a great presence. He fucking commits to everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what makes this movie work. It's him and Swayze, and Swayze, R.I.P. But like, it was a movie star as well. He shouldn't have won an Oscar, but he definitely like brings some weird dance kid that also skydives energy to everything that comes through.
I think this is probably his best performance. I love this performance by him because it actually does show the whole spectrum. Like, you get the usual Swayze, kind of seductive, slow, like, hey, how you doing there, man? But you also get like the very angry part towards the end. Like, and I don't think many other movies did that for him.
This movie like takes his character in Roadhouse, who's sort of like, I'm a bouncer for spiritual reasons. And this movie, it updates it to like, I rob banks and kill people for spiritual reasons, to fight against the system. Yeah. But I like, because it's Bigelow, she has a real sense of cruelty and perversity. So this movie shows that the kind of like Zen cowboy surfer guy, like taken to its logical extreme, would be a complete psychopath.
Yeah, he would have to have a Rosie. He has to have like a piece of shit, a mechanism.
He's a mechanism, man.
Yeah, the mechanism.
I need to see Lee Turgison being like set on someone, like Patrick Swayze giving the order, like, Rosie, go get him, and you just see Lee Turgison fucking tearing some
He's
dude
like
up.
eating someone's face or whatever.
It'd be fucking awesome.
A little more face eating would have helped, I do think. I do love how this opens, and then it goes directly into the FBI with John C. McGinley, who. He's a pain in the ass. He's an asshole, of course, but like, he's absolutely correct about Johnny Utah.
Johnny Utah's the worst police officer in any film ever.
Yes.
He's
so bad at his job.
In The Departed, he is the worst cop to ever be in a movie.
Well, let's see. You are undercover, okay, with surfers. And you could have easily been spotted at multiple times in this movie walking into the FBI like office building with a surfboard in your fucking hand. And he's like, oh, it doesn't fit in my car. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
He goes to the beach, and he's just got a walkie-talkie with Gary Busey just hollering into the other end of it.
To be fair, it's wrapped in a blanket.
Special Agent Utah, oh, come on, get me over.
But to be fair, he's also like, this is the FBI's fault, because this dude is fucking famous. This guy was in the Rose Bowl 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and now
that's true.
And he's walking around saying, "Hi, my name is Johnny Utah. I'm a lawyer now."
I do love the detail that all these surfer dudes are watching college sports.
Yes, absolutely. Like, all of these fucking total beach bum guys are like, oh yeah, and like the game stats that they start reeling off, and they know about the career-ending knee injury. Like, very odd turn that these surf bums watch.
Like, what are
football.
they? Do you think that there's like maybe a slight possibility that like the big-time college football star who like lost an NFL career to a tragic injury, and then worked hard to join the FBI? Gee, I wonder if like the local or national media covered that story at all. It's just like,
Maybe.
College star gets his G-Man badge today, but I guess these guys don't read the newspaper. But the other thing I like about the opening shot of him coming to the FBI building in LA, it's like you got John C. McGinley being a prick, like he's always great at doing, but it's there's a really good tracking shot as they move around the office, and it like it sort of like parts from them and comes back together. But then like McGinley, being the asshole that he is, he's like, you may think you're a big dick and if you're full of cum, and I'd like to get that cum out of you, boy, but we solve bank robberies here based on data and data analysis. And I love that because it's just like Johnny Utah's like, I'm going to prove you wrong. What if I solve bank robbing by being cool and learning how to surf?
Absolutely.
He's
What if
young,
I
dumb, and full of cum.
What
which
if
is
I
his
solve
problem? They should milk him.
What if I solve a bank robbery by coming in Lori Petty? What if that's how I solve something?
Well, you
You think
gotta
my
come
cum is
somewhere.
a problem? Incorrect. My cum will be everywhere on this case.
By the way, This movie is a really good portrayal about how being an undercover Fed is a really great way to start a long-term relationship with a woman. Maybe even have a kid with her.
Oh yeah,
Especially
they're definitely ending up together, of course.
Use her childhood trauma against her to start. That's what you want to do. You want to
Oh
really
my Lord.
flip those fucking
whole
tables.
In the pickup artist community, we call that day game.
Got it.
Yeah.
Fed game.
Yeah, my parents are also dead, tragically.
Yeah, how does she not just immediately be like, "Get the fuck out of here"? Like, I if somebody came up to me and that was their line, like she says it's a line, it would have to be a line, right? Like,
Yes.
I wouldn't believe it for a minute.
What, that someone has dead parents?
Well, they were coming up and telling me about it, and like, you need to help me learn how to surf because I have dead parents.
It would be
I
better if
think
he was
she's
like,
really saying yes because he's hunky.
Yes,
yes.
Oh,
I think
he
it's
is-
Keanu Reeves.
is
You're
he
hunky
ever?
enough, they'll believe
God.
anything. I think that's
Exactly.
been proven many times.
My parents were in the same plane as yours. They were in seats 24F and 24G. That's so fucking weird.
Yeah, the San Diego plane crash we come to find out
Sad
about.
story, man.
Yeah.
But that's how, like, he would know he's gone to like a step too far. He's like, yeah, my parents were killed in a car accident.
I mean, the thing, what I like about the fact that, like, we're talking about this stuff, like, how, like, it is really about how, like, Keanu is just a hunk that Lori Petty is, like, interested in. But, like, what I love about this movie is that, like, they present masculine codes and then they're like, it's all bullshit. Like, the spiritual thing that Bodhi has, like,
Is also bullshit.
I mean, it kind of is bullshit when the mechanism shit starts up, but like something like Angelo Pappas, Gary Busey, the great Gary Busey,
Busey.
God, he's phenomenal in this
Amazing.
movie.
My name is Angelo Pappas.
Angelo
Yeah.
Pappas.
Figure that out.
Yeah, no, that was the biggest question I had in this movie. I forgot his name was Angelo Pappas. And it's this bucktooth fucking corn-fed Gary Busey with this shock of blonde hair running around like he's some
with a Greek last name.
Yeah, some
and
Greek guy.
His whole name means angel priest. I looked up Pappas. Apparently, it translates to priest in
I like
Greek.
that.
Greek.
I mean,
I buy it for the character. He is a priest of sorts.
this movie needs him so bad because you just need a gut. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much hard bodies, so much like everybody is. You need something for the dad in the audience to be like, yeah, I washed out. That guy fucking rules. Like, that's what I want
totally.
to do.
Yeah, finally I can see my divorced ass on screen. Excellent.
See, I remember like I loved this movie when I was a kid. This is like a foundational action film of the 90s.
Definitely.
But like
Totally.
I always totally identified with Busey's character because like, you know, I'm not a beach person, you know, I don't like sand, you know.
Yeah, you're in the car with the sandwiches.
Yeah, exactly. But like that, it's crucial. It's like there has to be a kind of a love triangle in this movie, and I'm not talking about Lori Petty, but I mean like Busey has to be the stand-in. He's the father figure for Keanu,
Right.
and then Bodhi Patrick Swayze is the daddy figure, and it's about which one of these influences will. Gain the affection and mold the life of this young stud.
Because why would you turn to your father when there's sexy father over here?
Yeah,
I related to Gary Busey too, but it was mostly because of his absolutely shit or fantastic wardrobe.
Yeah.
These shirts they
it's
got
great.
him in. It's just incredible. I had trouble focusing on what was going on in the movie because
Question.
there's just all kinds of shit on it.
Is this part of the undercover thing? Well, I got to look like a beach guy, so I need one of these funny shirts.
Everybody's wearing shirts at the beach.
Or it's just like, oh, finally, I'm going undercover as someone who looks like me. Like he's not undercover as, a person who wears a suit to the office.
I do love that he's a living joke in the office. And like, I
Yep.
don't know, dude, this fucking ridiculous hunk that just showed up that was in the fucking Rose Bowl last year. Put him with Pappas. I cannot be bothered, and let them like actually kill themselves. I don't care.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing too, right? Because in this movie, he's not, Keanu's not partnered with the star of the department. He's partnered with the fucking washout meatball sandwich loving dude that everybody hates.
keep in mind this is the Los Angeles office. You know, this is one of the
That's
marquee.
right.
This is one of the marquee assignments of the bureau. But what does John C. McGinley say to Johnny Utah when he first gets in the office? He's like, "I make sure all my agents have good cardio and cum gutters," and he's like, I take the skin off chicken, sir. So I mean, if like a guy who's obviously the biggest hunk in America comes and work in the office, all the other daddies are gonna shit on him.
Yep.
And,
I mean,
Definitely.
when Pappas comes on, like to have him introduced, like it is funny that they're like, you have to do, like he's blindfolded and asked to pick up bricks from the bottom of a pool.
It's Gary Busey's swimming lesson.
And Gary Busey,
I don't think that's a real FBI thing. I think they're just fucking with Pappas. Yeah.
I'm like, how does this help things? How would you be in a situation where this would be important to do? Like,
well,
if you were
Pappas is asking
blinded,
the exact same question. He's like, I don't know what this has to do with police work. And you're like, I don't know either, man. But I bet you $1,000 you're going to hilariously jump in that pool, which he does.
He does like a side throw.
It's like a quarter of a triple Lindy.
Yeah.
He does a quarter Lindy.
Yeah. We meet the presidents of the United States, not the excellent band, but the ex-presidents.
The ex-presidents.
Ex-presidents, yes. Well, this is Gary Busey. We're reviewing the footage of the robbery. Gary Busey's got a great line here about, and then just like that, they vanish like a virgin on prom night.
Yep, absolutely.
You need those lines. Like these lines, I missed. Like that. What I love about this is that all the lines are really good. Like just, I read somewhere that Matthew Broderick was supposed to play the Johnny Utah part.
No.
And I would.
What?
Can you imagine?
Yes.
I am an FBI agent. Like,
first of all, you're not a fucking Rose Bowl MVP if you're played by Matthew Broderick.
No. Yeah, he couldn't even be the fucking kicker on the Rose Bowl team. Get out of here.
There's not enough one of those beaches. They would have stomped him out instantly.
There's not enough apple carts in the world to have him stand next to Patrick Swayze. All right, that's not gonna happen.
War Child, back off. But you know what? Do whatever you're going to do, War Child. If you want to rip him apart, go right the fuck ahead.
Oh, War Child. It kind of sucks that only James LaGrosse as Nixon is doing a presidential impression.
Yep. He's the only one who's committed to the part, you know?
Yep.
I mean,
all these dudes should be doing it.
I mean, and look, and then as they're running out of the bank and he says, I'm not a crook. I mean, like, that's a good line. But I mean, Carter, he could have had a joke about stagflation.
Mm-hmm.
Lyndon
Patrick Swayze can run out of the
for
bank.
all this sweet money.
You should have Patrick Swayze running out of the bank like as Reagan, and he's just like, AIDS are fake, bye.
Or just his opening line is just like, nobody in here is a fan of Jodie Foster, are they? Just checking. Just checking.
Wish that dude had better aim, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
He had perfectly fine aim. He had a little small caliber pistol.
Oh, that was the problem.
Fair point.
Oh, you're right.
He hit him right in the
That's
chest.
right.
If he'd had a 9mm, he would have
That's right.
dissolved into dust.
Swayze as Reagan, of course, Reagan is the leader of the ex-presidents. He should have come in and said, the scariest words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. But that's going to be topped now by if you move, I'm going to shoot you in the face with this 44 caliber Magnum handgun I have. That's another cool thing about this movie is that before it is revealed who the ex-presidents are and you only know them as their presidential characters, they are identified by each having a really cool gun and not just like a standard movie gun. Swayze's got that big like pistol, like a cowboy style, like Colt 44. Yeah. And then one of them has the Steyr, like the ultimate henchman in Die Hard. He rocks one of those.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the classic pump shotty. But it's Bigelow's. It's like she likes guns. She's got a sense for perversity and violence, and that's what makes her such a good director.
Well, it's the same thing when they do the the failed tits up raid on the neo-Nazi, surf Nazis place, because that is like when they're getting all their shit together and he's like, they're getting a whole army together in there, whatever it is. It is like, you don't see the same weapon twice.
Yes,
it is a different gun for every fucking shot. I love it.
Oh wait, no, it's one of the War Child guys that has the Steyr, but yeah. And then the shotgun with the drum magazine on it. Oh, come on.
Oh my God.
Now we're talking.
Isn't there's an IMDb but for guns and movies, right? Yes, this would be a good one to look up.
I think it's literally the IMGB. You can even believe it.
Makes sense.
So, someone makes a passing reference to Pappas's like theory about who the ex-presidents are. And Keanu finally, wears him down and gets him to tell him. And he's like, I think the ex-presidents are surfers. And he's like so ready to tell this fucking theory to Keanu. And I love this whole setup. They're watching the footage. They're definitely still at the office. You better believe we're drinking Coronas at night. Oh yeah, drinking at work.
I do love that like Keanu is just like, wait, so you think that these guys are surfers? Like guys who like hang 10, surf guy? Unlike regular FBI agents, like he does the surf guy voice and nothing changes.
Sounds exactly like that.
Another thing I like about this movie as like a quintessential 90s action movie is that it communicates, like a certain fear that, the rise in alternative lifestyles like grunge music or skateboarding could lead to, extremes and a need for more extremes, which would lead to extreme crimes like skateboarding crimes or grunge crimes. And then, yes, indeed, surfing crimes.
Oh, yeah.
And the most dangerous of all, which are skydiving crimes. That's
because that's the most extreme. That's the most extreme.
The easiest way to get on the crime wave is surfing.
Yeah. Well, there was a starter pack. By the way, the skydiving version of this movie, Wesley Snipes' Drop Zone,
yes,
which came out only a few years later, also features Gary Busey,
of course,
but as the bad guy.
Yes,
he basically plays Patrick Swayze's character in that movie.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And he gets to have his cake and eat it too, and also skydive.
Steve, you were just saying your father wasn't like an extreme skydiver back in the 90s, right?
He was. Yeah, his license plate said I skydive for about a decade until he stopped doing it. Yeah.
They have to, after the bank robbery happens, they do the drop car and they do the surfer thing. I like how he has to get as dumb as Utah. Busey has to get as dumb as Utah to like want to do this because he's like, "Are you mad? Are you mad as me? Okay, let's do this now. Let's just be fucking stupid and do it."
Well, it's his whole thing of like you gotta feel it in your blood, man.
Yeah. No, thank you. I did. So sex wax. Did everybody when they were younger see this in stores and be like, they just let that stuff out in the front? When I was
Can they do that?
Yeah. What, really? What is all this stuff for sex?
You get a good wax on your dome, and that prevents pregnancy, I believe.
Yeah, that's where I was at. I was like, damn, I got a world to fucking discover here.
Well, you discovered
you put like
it
some
now.
of that on your schwanz there, and then it like hardens up like those shells you'd put on ice cream cones.
Right.
Like that
And
shit.
then
That's
you
what
could,
you're saying.
you can start getting a little soft, and it won't matter.
No.
It's brilliant.
Oh, yeah, it keeps going. You get that. The
oh no, just fucking you with this hollow, thin dildo, basically, is what you say.
It's been done.
But so Johnny Utah goes undercover by driving from his actual apartment in his actual car to a different part of town and then giving people his actual name. That is what undercover police work is all about.
He's got like the FBI, like fucking law enforcement parking sticker on the windshield.
Well,
like, don't mind that.
They don't show the scene when Lori Petty finds his badge because that's like so like rushed at the end of the movie. But I just want her to like take a piss at his apartment and then just see all of his graduation photos and be like, wait a second.
That'd be funny if he kept showing up to the surfing beaches and to hang out with Lori Petty instead of just in a suit, wearing one of those FBI windbreakers with just FBI on the back of it.
No, I swear it stands for female body inspector.
Yeah, they've like freshly fucked and he's still cum drunk and she's like, oh geez, I need a t-shirt. Can I borrow one of yours? He's like, yeah, in the dresser top drawer. And it's just all fucking like Quantico t-shirts.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, what I want is like anyone to ask him about this fucking law job he has and watch this dude fumble through an explanation.
You know what, dude? It's one question. Oh, so what kind of law do you practice?
The law kind?
Sports? Yeah,
Law and order.
law.
Sports law.
This episode is sponsored by Athletic Greens, and I couldn't be happier because this is a product I use every day. I started using AG1 every morning because I hate taking heap after heap of vitamin pills and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great and would be welcomed into my morning routine instead of forcing thousands of pills down my throat. I even used it while traveling when the podcast went on the road. AG1 is the best option for easy, optimal nutrition. You just take 1 scoop of AG1 and some water, and you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins and minerals and whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day out right. AG1 is my daily micro habit that makes it easier to lead a healthier lifestyle and feel my best while doing it, because if I take it in the morning, it reminds me to continue to make some healthy choices throughout the day. This blend of ingredients they've assembled supports your gut health, your nervous system, immune system. It helps your energy, your recovery, focus, and aging. So right now, take time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements that I used to throw down my throat thinking I was healthy. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs for your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/WeHateMovies. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/WeHateMovies to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Athletic Greens.
This week's episode is brought to you by Diet Smoke. Now, friends, you all know me. You know I like to get loose with some puffs of smoke or an infused treat, if you will, but it is the tragic truth that you can get too high. Too high to shower, too high to successfully carry a watermelon from the market to the car, too high to operate a DVD player. It just won't do. With edibles, it can be so easy to mix up dosage and end up unable to do anything but go insane, pretend to be a knight, and cross the Spanish countryside attempting to revive chivalry. That's why when I need the perfect medium high, I hit up our friends at Diet Smoke for their delicious Delta 8 THC gummies. Delta 8 is simply a slightly less potent THC. The THC that you're probably most familiar with is Delta 9, and while both are natural to the cannabis plant, Diet Smoke extracts their Delta 8 from hemp. Some may call this a loophole. I call it the secret recipe to getting a smooth, stable, and most importantly, legal high. Diet Smoke is legal in most states, and it's non-prescription. Just check Diet Smoke's website to see if they ship their delicious gummies to your state. Now, you're probably asking yourself, does Diet Smoke really get you high? Of course. The high you get with Diet Smoke is best described as somewhere between the chillness of CBD and that classic stone feeling you get with regular weed. Diet Smoke isn't light, it's just right. Plus, Diet Smoke comes in 2 delicious flavors, blue raspberry and watermelon. I like blue raspberry. Steve is more of a watermelon guy. I say try them both. Each gummy is infused with 10 milligrams of Delta 8 THC derived from American-grown hemp. And you know what they say, buy American, get high with American. Also, Diet Smoke's Delta 8 gummies are low in sugar, fat-free, and delicious. Oh, and did I mention they're legal? You guys know by now, Diet Smoke has been supporting the show for a long time, and that's because you, the listeners, have stepped up and supported them. But we know some of you are still on the fence about Delta 8. Well, Diet Smoke has a solution for that. Go to dietsmoke.com, fill out your info, and they are going to send you a free sample. All you have to do is pay a few bucks for shipping. And if you're looking for something a little stronger, Diet Smoke just released their new Stronger gummies, mango and cherry lime. Use the promo code WHM now for 20% off all of Diet Smoke's original and new Stronger gummies at dietsmoke.com. That's dietsmoke.com, promo code WHM for 20% off. Diet Smoke's Delta 8 THC gummies are not for use or sale to people under the age of 21. Please use responsibly.
So he goes to the beach. So his whole thing is like, yeah, get in good with the surfers, because Busey's theory about, they rob 4 months out of the year and then they're out of here. Oh, they must be following the surf or whatever. So he goes and surfs and fucks it up immediately and almost kills himself 10 seconds on the job, and is saved by Lori Petty, who's playing Tyler in this movie.
Yeah.
Did you love Lori Petty?
She's great. And this was during like her hate. This and League of Her Own are like she's so fucking good in them.
Hey,
Tank Girl, not
Tank
far
Girl,
behind.
anyone? Tank Girl?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A lot of fun.
Oh my God. But then eventually in the army now.
Yeah.
You
I
guys see
forgot
that?
she's the
Well,
third
once
in
the
that
Pauly Shore
movie.
stuff starts.
Yeah.
The Pauly Shore, yeah. I mean, she just flamed out because she became like 38 years old, which is not allowed.
How dare she?
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Now you have to go to Netflix. Sorry, you're going to be on Orange is the New Black for 4 seasons.
Hey, she was just on Station 11.
Oh, she was?
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
I haven't
I
watched
haven't
it.
gotten to that
didn't
yet.
see it.
That's another reason for me to check it out. I love the great I'm Johnny Utah. Who cares? She fucking yells at him. It's great.
So James Cameron got Catherine Bigelow this job essentially because Blue Steel fucking tanked. Even though very good movie.
It is. I
have to imagine what he was drawn to. So like I imagine him in the editing bay with her and just being like, you want to hang on to those water shots a little longer?
Get off my set, Jim Cameron. Get off my set.
But this is really good. This is the good stuff, Catherine. I don't know about this gun stuff. But
what if he was a blue cop?
Can he swim?
I mean, Bodhi was like the original Way of Water mindset.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's the source, man.
He doesn't have the dreads, though. He doesn't have the magnificent dreads.
I'd like to fuck you with my blue tail or whatever.
The thing about the Way of Water is that it goes in cycles.
It's true.
So he's just doing, he seduces her by using her dead parents against her, which is what you want to do.
Yep.
And she starts giving him lessons. We get a fun surfing montage, and
which is nice. It's two sexy people in wetsuits. It's not too shabby.
No problems there.
Yeah.
I love that everyone is making fun of Keanu's surfboard.
Yeah, it's
like every single person.
Shit.
What a
dog
shitty
shit
surfboard.
board, man. We
Matt,
get
you're
that fucking thing, bro.
You're in California. You know those pig surfboards are bullshit, man.
Fucking pig boards. I have no idea.
Keanu Reeves has a Mickey Mouse surfboard, but I also love that how he's like instantly clocked as not a surfer and not from California just because he's not blonde.
Yep.
He's the only not blonde person in this movie other than Lori Petty.
Mm-hmm. Like at this point, if you're living out there, man, Johnny Utah, like it's at least sun-kissed at this point in some way.
And you'd think someone named Johnny Utah would be blonde.
I also
Mormons.
I also noticed there's a scene where Lori Petty and like earlier in their courtship when he's trying to get her to teach him to surf, she's like, "Okay, city boy." It's like, city boy, aren't you from like Orange County or something? What are you talking about?
He's from Ohio.
Yeah, he says he's from Ohio, which she later also refers to as Kansas, which is fair.
He just mixed it up. This is he gets invited to a fun beach party with all of the bank robbers, and we're playing football. Like
beach football.
That was it was a great playing with the boys style sequence.
Yes.
But I just thought, like, think how much better that scene would have been if they were playing dogfight beach football like in Top Gun Maverick.
Oh yeah.
Boy.
Offense and defense simultaneously.
Hell yeah. I mean, it's great. It's great watching the athleticism of Patrick Swayze right here too.
He's got a killer bod as well.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks great. And then he tackles Swayze and they all roll up on him and they're like, "What the fuck, man? We were just having a good time." And he's like, "Hey, don't you know who this is? It's Johnny friggin' Utah." And they're like, "Oh wow." Like, MVP of the Rose Bowl, they all turn into fucking like Kirk Herbstreit, like in a fucking split second.
Yeah.
Wow, number 9.
They're remembering the number.
Well, this is a type of burnout I'm unfamiliar with, the jock burnout. Like I'm more like you go to some dude's house and you play Mario Party and get stoned.
Yeah, video game burnout.
Yeah, exactly. Just melt into a couch kind of a scenario. The idea that you would do something with somebody else, it's physical. I guess that they would watch the movie.
Yeah, this is like someone actually meeting Mario, to do your analogy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, it's a great sequence. Soundtrack to the worst cover of "Smoke on the Water" I've ever heard in my life.
I will say, aside from the
thing.
one Concrete Blonde song when Lori Petty's getting changed, the soundtrack kind of is pretty weak. I think.
Yeah.
I think
the Concrete Blonde song is very
end
good.
You end with a rat tune though.
Yeah,
that's
true.
R-A-double-T. Absolutely.
I remember the scene where Utah is first trying to surf and like the chorus of the song is like, "Don't fall off. Hope I keep standing on this surfboard. Don't fall over. Don't want to fall."
Right.
I will not fall. I will not fall.
It's just an instructional manual they're playing on tape.
That's right. So Keanu gets some information here where it's like, in all these bank robberies, the only thing left behind at one point was a hair. They do some chemical analysis, and he has this idea, like surfers are territorial. Why don't we go to some of these closed beaches that are, shut down due to water pollution, and we'll get some hair samples and try to see if these are the guys. And there's this like quick couple of scenes of both Keanu and Gary Busey stealing hair from people, which is awesome.
There should have been some sort of expose about that in the local news.
Totally. These dudes running around the beach cutting hair
without a warrant in the Southlands.
I just want Gary Busey in a fucking urinal. Just, this is pube heaven. We'll figure it out.
Well, they missed a
this
beat.
This is pube pay dirt.
the FBI, I mean, good cops, good feds that they are, they missed a beat, but like every beach has the outside shower where you pull the thing and wash the salt water off of you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just fish around in the drain of that thing. Think how much fucking hair is stuck in there. It's a hair collector.
Well,
Totally. At a public beach, fucking forget it. You'll be there for days getting that shit out.
Only to evade the headline: former college football stars stealing hair from random denizens of the beach. Like you don't want to see that.
Yeah, I'm into weird sex stuff. I collect hair from drains.
Well, he's like, oh, dude, you've got a bug on your back. I'm like, are you hitting on me right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, that's my business if I've got a bug on my back, dude.
The dude who's like the lab tech who tells them like what the chemicals are in that hair that they find. Did you catch? It's the guy
Jeffrey
with the dude's
Lebowski's landlord.
Hell yeah. He recently passed away, I found out, just in May. I couldn't believe it.
That's too bad. Real one.
Yeah,
He's great.
RIPD. But yeah, so this is where he, because of the hair collecting, it's like, oh, now I've run afoul of Anthony Kiedis and these other surf Nazi dudes. And this is a great, like, we're just getting in a fight on the beach, which is awesome. Gary Busey almost blows the fucking undercover shit right here, too.
This might be my favorite. Like, it just like I hear it and I'm like, what? And, like, back off, War Child. A man named War Child.
Yeah.
It's not going to compute. I'm sorry.
That's like from an Image comic from like 1993. Back off, War Child. Let blood
Drawn by Rob Liefeld.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Huge chest muscles.
Speaking of lines that stick in my head, it's a shame Anthony Kiedis didn't get more line reads in this movie because he really kills it when he was like, that would be a waste of time. He's like doing a Christopher Walken impression or something. He's not
It's
quite
a
sure
little bizarre,
when to
but-
say the words.
Yeah, thankfully War Child saves it in the end that we're just going to kick your ass.
He had a little career. He was in the Charlie Sheen movie, The Chase.
The Chase. Oh my God.
I think he showed up on Married with Children a couple of times or something like
The
that.
Chase
He was
is a
like-
future episode.
Yes.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Isn't the chase both him and Flea?
Yes, they're in a truck and they're part of the police are pursuing them in the chase and then they join in as like vigilantes.
Yeah, the OG Buffy, what's her name?
Christy Swanson.
Yeah,
Christy Swanson.
yes.
Yes.
Oh, right. She plays Dalton Voss's daughter. Why do I know
they
character
fuck in the
names from
car.
that movie.
There's that sex scene where they're like just fucking in the
Yes,
car.
they have.
and
Yep.
driving
Sex
it.
in
Hell
the car,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
But to your
My
point,
teenage years remember that.
the fact nobody finds this enormous Star Wars style fucking walkie-talkie that he's got on, like
It's like it's on. It's in. It's close and it's hollering. Like, how is nobody computing that? There's Patrick Swayze's right there.
and like fucking Gary Busey's like, Utah, come in, Utah, come in.
I'm just listening to AM radio. I just like Rush Limbaugh, okay?
No, I mean, like, and it's Gary Busey. Like, he can't whisper. It's not possible.
No, definitely
It's
not.
just the barking.
Him barreling down those stairs and then being
Yes.
caught for like, oh, you seeing the kids? There's a kid that's
Stole my radio.
He's just
Yes.
putting it together as he goes. It's great.
But Swayze is, he comes in and saves the day here because Keanu's kind of he holds his own for a while. These Nazis are beating him up, and then he starts getting his ass handed to him. Bodhi comes in, and we get to see this is some like Patrick Swayze pseudo martial arts,
Yep.
but not really.
He's doing
But I'll
some
take
kick.
it.
He's doing some sort of like very. Let's be honest. So Swayze's got he's got a great physique, but it was some weak looking kicks he was laying down on Anthony Kiedis. Some weak sort of like side roundhouse.
Dance kicks.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
kicks of a dancer. That's it. Doesn't. It's not going to take you down or anything. But yeah, thank God, fucking Swayze because it wastes all these guys.
He knew like 12 karate moves and he did them in every movie. He used it in The Outsiders where they had to like write it into S.E. Hinton's The Outsiders. This dude, they're like, they took karate classes in like 1950s dirt Iowa. Sure, absolutely.
It's crazy, like in that scene too in Ghost, where like Whoopi goes inside him and she's like, "Oh, by the way, I took karate class," and then it's Patrick Swayze doing karate, but has Whoopi Goldberg possessing him doing karate.
I'd like that. I would like that.
I would like to be possessed by a ghost for karate purposes.
Mhm.
Yeah, only that's only the one I would do. I
Yeah.
think.
Dude, Karate Ghost. Well, actually, Karate Ghost. That's kind of Ninja 3: The Domination.
Yes,
Yeah, a little
great
bit.
classic film.
Wonderful.
Oh yes, classic film. But yeah, when Busey runs down the stairs, it's this like, what do you do? Oh, I mean, have you seen kids who stole my radio? Like, it's like, man, get it together, dude. How about some professionalism? No wonder you were the fucking departmental joke, dude.
Well, what's so amazing is like So these guys beat him up, and then he's just like, they're the robbers. Like immediately, he's like, Johnny Utah, dumbass, is just like, well, they're the bad guys. They have to be the bad guys, not this beautiful man who I've just met. It cannot be him.
They follow these guys home, and they show them in this fucking like war rig from Fury Road. And they're weaving back and forth through traffic, and then sliding into the park, like they're parking on the front yard of the house. It's like, yeah, these guys definitely pulled off 28 bank robberies in 3 years successfully.
In and out in 90 seconds.
Got away every time, for sure. They got it together.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. And John C. McGinley is like on fire, furious about how long this is. It's been 2 weeks, John C. McGinley. This is a fucking crime that's been, they say they've done like 27 of these things or something.
Yeah.
And it's been over a couple summers.
Well,
it's going to take a month.
They needed some sort of throwaway line to establish a backstory where like surfers, killed his parents or harassed him in school or something.
That'd be great.
That would be, he was beaten with a surfboard in the alley of a bar or something.
He pulls up his shirt. He's got 3 little spikes in the exact moment. A little scar situation. But I mean, like the McGinley part's interesting, but it doesn't because of Catherine Bigelow's love for authority. Like you need to push that further. Like, because at the end, when Utah throws his badge away, like you need to set up that like the FBI is actually worse than these dudes who are just fucking enjoying the ride.
Well,
kind of
you see, the FBI is part of the system that crushes the human spirit. And and robbing banks and surfing are what liberate the human spirit.
I see.
And and then for like the workaday Joes out there, when they hear about banks getting robbed and people or just people surfing, they go, you know what? There's still hope. There's still hope out there. I could be like that.
When they're driving to work in their metal coffins or whatever, which is also a great line. My God, yes, it is inspiring. It inspires human hope. And it's a shame. I guess bank robbery is kind of passé these days, huh?
Yeah,
yep. But
you don't see it so much.
So he's going to a party at Patrick Swayze's house. There's a huge an honest to goodness raid scheduled for the morning, which people do remind him when he shows up late. It's his raid. It's actually your raid that you are going to be late to. And
which he shouldn't fucking be there.
He's the undercover guy.
Yep.
Why is he at the raid?
Busey says to him, like, you just cover the back entrance, but just like kind of hang back because we don't want to blow your cover. Like, you think War Child, a guy he fought just a day before, is not going to recognize the guy who arrested him as the dude he saw on the beach the day before. As soon as he gets to central booking, he's going to tell someone. Yeah. And you don't think that's going to get back to Bodie?
But like, and I mean, like, hey, look, we've all been in our 20s working jobs. You stay out a little too late with your improv team, getting drunk, having a good time. And maybe you blow the meeting the next morning, but nobody has a fucking shotgun at your throat.
Well, also Gary Busey's like, oh, you better go home and get a good night's sleep. We got an early morning tomorrow.
Better go to a surfing party. And then,
but his responsibility as being undercover, like, go to that party. That's what you're fucking doing, Johnny Utah.
Yep. And of course, going into the party, we hear the song that has blessed so many senior yearbooks in the quotation pages. Jimi Hendrix's "If 6 Was a 9."
Oh yeah.
I mean, if I get kissed with if I get to do that tequila shot trick, I'm really happy. I'd probably fumble it.
That looked fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably spit it all out immediately, but you do what you can.
But at this party is where Bodie, they have a little like campfire out on the beach, and Bodie's explaining all the stuff about like Bells Beach, Australia, and that's where the big one's coming, and setting up the last moments of the movie. Of course,
it's just funny. It's if I ever had to run away from here, I'd go exactly to this address.
And he reminds Johnny Utah, it's not tragic to die doing what you love. Keep that in your back pocket.
Just in from the internet ticker, James LaGrosse, the great James LaGrosse, is
love LaGrosse.
He's fantastic at everything. Has to be an adrenaline junkie because he's married to Christina Loggia, the daughter of Robert Loggia. Dude, oh my God. Actually wanting to have Christmas with Robert Loggia, that's a fucking death wish, dude.
Welcome back to Christmas with Robert Loggia. I can't even imagine. Just like fucking sweating through your shirt at every Thanksgiving. No way.
Sounds like another great party. Do that right
You
after
know
the
who
surf
paid
party.
for this Thanksgiving dinner, don't yous? Orange juice.
Yeah, I think Keanu Reeves makes the very smart decision here to walk away from all the talk of surfing places we'd love to go and go and romance Lori Petty in this empty room that they have in the back. And this is what I mean. I think that, there's a couple really good surfing montages scenes in this movie. The night surfing scene might be my favorite.
Night surfing's great, but it comes right after he gets fucking ridiculously cockblocked by Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about it's okay to, die doing what you love or whatever. And Lori Petty's like, hey, little too much testosterone for me. And she gets up from the campfire and gives Keanu the old hand on the shoulder as she walks away, like, let's fucking go. And then he follows a little later and they're right there in that room. And I was like, boom, here it goes. Come on. And then Patrick Swayze runs right in and he's like, night surf. And it's like, I'm about to get my fucking dick sucked here, buddy. Come on.
I thought there was going to be a threesome, but
shit. Hey,
Would be nice.
Now we're talking.
The night surf is awesome, but it's also the worst day for night I've ever seen. Like it is.
I thought it was
really-
good day for night,
It's
actually.
okay.
You're never going to not notice it, Steve. There's
true.
There's no such thing as flawless day for night. And you want to be putting actors out swimming at night, dude.
But that, of course, leads to him boning Lori Petty on the beach. And they all go to the diner while he leave the fire for them. You know what? He tried to get him away from Lori Petty. Patrick Swayze, Bodhi tried to get away.
Yep.
But he's like, you know what? He won. Keep the fire here. They're clearly going to fuck. They're still out there just doing the thing. And we're going to go have diner food and maybe rob a bank.
My favorite role here, because listen, I'm not surfing. If when I would be dead in this movie is like in the first scene, I would be killed surfing. But Lee Turgeson's role of dude laying by fire and kind of just kicking it every now and again.
Yep.
That's a job I could do for the surf team. Absolutely.
it's funny.
So just to be clear, violent kidnapper over surfer. As far as what you would like to do.
Of course, Chris. Come on. It's not even a contest.
I just mean
I
is
would
that
prefer
moment.
surfer. I'm just saying.
I would grab
I just
someone.
mean in that moment.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
Yeah.
surfing. I'm
Fair.
I'm kicking the fire around.
Fair point.
I was gonna say it's funny because just last night, or I was flying back from Florida, and the movie I watched on the plane was Wayne's World, and it's funny because
nice.
Lee the Mechanism Turgeson basically
That's
plays
right.
the exact same character in Wayne's World. He's Wayne and Garth's Mechanism, and he has basically the exact same haircut in Wayne's World as he does in Point Break.
But
Hell
so
yeah.
this is the raid, and this scene is fucking excellent, even though it's insane. Again, he's like, I do love Keanu's like, I better stay out back so no one notices me at this fucking enormous raid.
I also love that the FBI is congregating and some guy's like, well, might as well mow my lawn.
Yep.
Like, can someone talk to him?
With a push mower that is also gas powered.
Yep.
Do those ever exist?
I don't. It's maybe there was a bridge between those technologies, but it is a beautiful machine.
I mean,
I
I
gotta say,
imagine that
I-
would be the guy who would absolutely once Johnny Utah and War Child are on his lawn. He's like, "Fuck, is that Johnny Utah? Hey man, can I get your fucking autograph?"
Exactly.
I hadn't seen this movie in a while, but I mean, I saw this movie. I watched this movie all the time when I was a kid. But rewatching it, the images, the scenes in the movie that stood out in my head more than anything when I just thought about Point Break, are both from this raid scene. One is Anthony Kiedis shooting his foot off.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Two is Keanu Reeves' face almost getting pushed into a running lawnmower. That made my hair stand on edge when I
And
was a
3
kid.
is the lady in the shower.
Yes,
yeah.
well, yeah. Let's not forget all the nudity. And Matt, you and I have talked about this. This is early 90s, still kind of the 80s. In every action movie, there needed to be a scene of gratuitous boobage.
Had to have
Doesn't
it.
matter. You had to have it.
You're not getting
There's
a
a
green
law.
light unless you give me something where
And-
there's tits.
And I think maybe this is a nod to Bigelow as the director, is that she always has to kind of there's a one-upsmanship there because she's sort of in a boys' club. So it's not just that she's giving you the boobage; she's going to add an extra level of sadism and make the boobage, the object of boobery, turn into a psycho and start stabbing people and going insane and then having to get knocked
Yes.
out.
Beat the shit out of Johnny Utah.
It's not just they a male director would have just had a woman in a shower and had her tits out and going and then scream away. But she gets in on the fucking carnage.
Yeah, the boobs are not the boobs you think are in danger, but they're dangerous boobs.
Yes, exactly.
If you
Not
are
passive.
ranking ranking the victims of the raid, she's number 2. Like, War Child is number 1. She's number 2. Like, War Child is number 1 because he almost fucking pushes Keanu's face into the lawnmower. Number 2 has to be this lady. Then number 4 is probably Anthony Kiedis, and then 5 not applicable is Tom Sizemore.
Also,
so that woman, her character's name is Freight Train.
Oh boy.
She's played by Julie Michaels, who is the stripper in another Patrick Swayze movie, Roadhouse.
Wow.
That's, that's talking about formative films for me. That scene in the VHS copy of it that we have at home.
Wore out the
Very
tracking, did you?
Oh God.
Another thing I like about the raid scene is that it just proves that John C. McGinley and all the other dickhead G-men at the fucking Los Angeles office are exactly right about Utah and Pappas. They have no fucking clue what they're doing. Nope. They half-ass this whole thing. Their walkie-talkies and whole communication get undone by a fucking lawnmower, and then he just immediately gets the woman who answers the door killed. Immediately, just gunned down. It's like the lead, and like his whole brilliant plan for gaining entrance to their house is to pretend his fucking dog is missing.
Oh man! Hey, Scooby! It's so dumb. And I just love it. I love the woman at the door giving him shit. Like, fuck you, man. I don't know where your dog is. Get out of my house.
But yeah, the raidees are smartly like, let's bring out every gun we've ever seen in our lives, which rules. And
I think we're only missing like a rocket launcher as far as like
That'd
the
be
lineup
nice.
of GoldenEye weapons.
And this, absolutely. It's just the golden gun, one shot, one kill.
Dude, Freight Train was slappers only, and she got pretty far.
Well, and another really cool part about this scene, and I know Matt must have clocked this. The wonderful use of squibs in this movie, and the really good headshot on that one guy who's like, "I'll kill this bitch, man," and then fucking Busey just gets about like a half a second glance at his forehead, and it's boom right in the fucking middle of his forehead, and you can see like the fucking like the crater it made and like the stippling and shit. Except no substitutes.
No, it's the best thing. I am so sad those things you don't see. I mean, that's why I like Ambulance so much, is because they actually use squibs again.
Yes,
like I got so excited, and I was like, oh my god, this is the best movie I've ever seen. It's fucking fantastic. But
you were excited. The dude who runs the fucking squib factory was thrilled, dude. What are you kidding? You can have a Christmas again.
We're back open, boys.
Exactly.
We got to talk now though about probably the coolest payoff to this whole botched raid scenario is the brief appearance of Tom Sizemore as an undercover cop, and he's like, "Hey, you assholes!" He's like, "These guys, I've had them on the line for 3 months. They were going to sell me 2 pounds of crystal meth," and I just like to think that like that wasn't a role. That was just Tom Sizemore.
Like, oh, Tom Sizemore, what are you doing here?
Like he was just on the set, like on a different set, blundered into theirs, and he was like, "You motherfuckers! I was trying to buy meth. You blew it.
Why are you fucking doing a movie right now? I got a meth deal in 5 minutes. Get the fuck out of here."
I told my guy I was going to meet him here. What the fuck are you doing?
I mean, when Tom Sizemore is the guy that's on his shit, you are totally off base, dude.
Oh,
like, when he's telling you what procedure is, you're a fucking asshole.
Are you wasting money on subscriptions? Because 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about. Now, that could be an Amazon Prime account you never use or a Hulu account that never gets streamed. That's why I use this great app that helps me track all of my expenses, which are numerous. Because of it, though, I no longer waste money on the subscriptions I don't even use or want anymore. I can just focus on the ones I really enjoy. And I think you might have heard of this app. It's called Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. This app shows you all your subscriptions in one place and cancels what you don't want for you. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't even know you were paying for. And then you can use all that money to make your own rocket and perhaps touch the forbidden heavens that they've been trying to keep us out of. On Rocket Money, you might even find out you're being double charged for a subscription you have right now. And to cancel one of these subscriptions, all you have to do is press cancel, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest for you. You don't have to log into a 50,000 web browser tabs. They make it so easy. Members responding to surveys have even said this is one of their best apps they've ever used. So see what all the fuss is about and get rid of those useless subscriptions and save money for that rocket with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/WHM. Seriously, it could save you hundreds a year. That's rocketmoney.com/WHM.
And he's furious, right? Because he's like, look, I've been undercover for months. My wife's got me sleeping at the fucking Ramada. You just saw me when this scene started. The camera caught me pouring beer into a bowl of Cheerios for breakfast, which is great. That is an awesome little detail.
I have to ask, has anybody tried that?
No.
Tomorrow I will.
I did when I was, because I was
You did?
stupid. Yeah. I
Today?
Was, not today. No, this is
you
back
were
like in my
stupid, or
20s.
you were a genius.
No, I was very stupid.
Okay, so
this is
run it
disgusting.
down. Chris
to do.
Cabin, run it down. How was it?
Terrible.
No?
Absolutely garbage.
What kind of Cheerios you talking about here?
It was a Honey Nut Cheerios.
Oh, that's
actually.
better off. Yeah.
I remember growing up and being at a friend's house, and his mother they didn't have milk, and she was like, just put orange juice in it. I'm like,
Jesus
what?
Christ.
Did you call fucking CPS on that?
I
lady?
tried, and they hung up on me.
I mean, yeah, it's just it was. I just had seen it in like multiple movies, and like it's supposed to be like, look, this is what the cool guy does, and I was like, let's give it a shot, and it was awful.
You should try it now. You're older now. Maybe your palate
Maybe,
is
yeah, my
adjusted.
taste is better.
I do love the lawnmower is like this should be the finale of any other movie because it's Point Break. It's in minute 29. You know what I mean? Like it's just sort of like we got other shit happening.
The only other time you see shit like this happen in Minute 29 is in like a fucking Argento movie or
Yes,
something.
exactly.
Also, the fact that Pappas shows up to rescue Johnny Utah from half an inch, his face is a half an inch from being shredded. And instead of just shooting War Child in the fucking head, he does some Annie Oakley shit where he shoots the motor of the fucking of the mower.
Yes.
What is how do you have that's just you're asking for him to get owned right there. You're asking for his face to get turned into bouillonnaise.
No, it's loss. You're adding a lawsuit to everything else that fucked up today because now you got to replace
true.
the goddamn
Fucking
gas.
broke my mower, motherfucker.
The gas mower got to fucking be replaced.
This is the only one of these of its kind. The push mower that has a motor for some reason.
This guy's
The neighbor comes out. He's just like, what the fuck? That was a prototype.
Yeah, he's an inventor, dude.
Oh, yeah. Next to this neo-Nazi house, it's just a house with a wacky inventor.
He's 50 years, like Papa's 50 years old, probably hungover, probably filled, like he probably ate like 3 gallons of stew right before the raid or something. And he's like, I'm going to go for a trick shot here.
Well, no, you trust your guy so much. You're like, oh, if I do the trick shot, then he'll punch War Child, and then I'll say, good job, kid, as opposed to, I don't know, everything. Maybe the thing explodes and kills them both.
Right.
I don't know. What's that?
Busey putting the gun in War Child's face, that was great. He's like, speak into the microphone, squid brain. Fucking awesome.
Well, and the Tom Sizemore thing also tells you like how fucking stupid the goddamn FBI is. They didn't talk to the DEA.
Yes.
I mean, I know this is the era of like, oh, the fucking FBI, the FBI doms the police department, and the CIA or the DEA doms the FBI.
Yeah.
And I get that, but I'm like, you fucked this up. You didn't talk to anybody about what this was.
They should have been fired after this. Like, no
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Like, everyone, John C. McGinley, he's such a jerk. The fact that they weren't fired proves that he's not. He had every right and justification to do so.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
the day after Waco, they're still looking for fucking those dudes are still like looking for Christian fundamentalists. Like, no, you're on another fucking case, dude. Like, you fucked this one up just enough. You've got to go to the other state. I'm sorry.
Keanu puts it together in the best way possible here. They go for it's an early morning swim or surf, and they're going down to the beach, and James LaGrosse is like making some joke, and he moons them, and he remembers the security footage of James LaGrosse mooning them in the bank robbery, and he's like, oh my God, I'd know that ass anywhere.
The ex-president's literally showing their ass and blowing it.
And the word ghost. That's the thing that really triggers it. Is
which makes no fucking sense. That's a dumb one. The ass one, I mean, is also stupid, but at least it's the same ass.
Yeah.
It's
and
also
you remember an ass.
The ghost thing. She's like, what? You look like you've seen a ghost. And then, of course, you have to see. She's like, these guys are ghosts. Remember, everybody? Remember minute 5? Minute 5
Remember
was
when
really
I said
fucking important.
Ghost? I said the word ghost. And then Keanu's really terrible, or Utah rather, is really terrible here at cover. He's like, I just forgot I have a meeting. Bye.
First meeting with a client in sports law. That's where we're going back to it.
So
I'm meeting with a goalie right now.
And he's tailing him for a little bit. There's a weird thing here. Did you catch when Keanu's like, oh, yeah, I followed him all over the place. He got lunch at Patrick's Roadhouse.
Of course.
All right. Here's my question, though.
go.
I don't know if you guys remember seeing this movie for the first time, but I'm wondering, I wasn't, but was anyone who watched this movie for the first time ever shocked to find out that Swayze and his crew were actually the ex-presidents?
There's no other way the movie could work.
I mean, no, I mean, like it's the way they set it up, like, you know, War Child and Anthony Kiedis as being a little bit of the misdirection or whatever. But like, what did you think? Patrick Swayze is going to help him stop the surfing crimes? No,
It's also like a kind of a bad misdirection because you know those guys aren't organized enough
they're
to
chumps.
pull it off.
yeah.
I think the first time I saw this movie, someone had explained it to me as, oh, it's a movie where Keanu Reeves infiltrates a surfer gang who's bank robbing and Patrick's. And so I think I knew all of that going in. So it was like spoiled or whatever beforehand.
I mean, when you go in and like the first fucking the Reagan comes in and I hear Patrick Swayze say something, I'm like, oh, that's Patrick Swayze. Like, it's just you can't do anything about it.
The idea that the next morning he explains to Pappas like, hey, this is the guys, they happen to be my best friends, but you know what, actually me fucking around for this entire movie actually worked out. And the fact that he is the guy that is staking this out, again, absolutely should not be, because they know your name, your address, and your fucking social security number, dude. Like, anyone else needs to be at this fucking stakeout.
It's 10:30 in the morning. You're just on the city street, clear as day. You know, everyone can fucking see
You're walking down to buy lunch in front of the bank.
Okay.
What is this Gary Busey thing? He's like, when the scene starts, he's like, oh, Calvin and Hobbes.
Okay, yeah, we need to talk about that, because obviously, as a kid, like me and my friends would do the Utah. Give me two. Give me like that was just like, you know, in our everyday, you know, discourse and conversation, we would find a way to work that in.
Of course.
Somehow I had totally forgot that the scene opens with him guffawing like a maniac at the Sunday Funnies and saying, "Man, that Calvin and Hobbes is funny." And I'm just like, he's just looking at like, and then right at the end, like right before like they see the bank robbery, he's still looking at the fucking funnies, and he just goes, ha 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 ha, and then he just goes, "Oh boy." He's like fucking looking at Family Circus or something.
Oh, Marmaduke's too big. Goddamn.
Utah, you wouldn't believe what Dilbert's up to this week.
And honestly, I gotta say, I thought Utah Get Me Too was the iconic line of this movie, but like watching it now, on this viewing, it's for me, it's man, that Calvin and Hobbes is funny.
I think Busey is doing some sort of like Busey improv at the end of that, because it's like he's supposed to be, I guess, reading the punchline of a strip that we don't see, because he's like, oh, Turkey Cemetery. What the fuck are you talking about?
Cow tools. That don't make no sense.
Officer down. Yeah. Anyway, I think Gasoline Alley is totally underrated.
Kathy wants chocolate again.
He just starts in on a Far Side book too.
Yeah.
Just he hasn't had enough.
Oh my God, those cows are at the bank.
I do. It's a great moment of character distinction where Keanu goes to get a tuna on toast. You know what I mean? A real adult's breakfast, or it's a brunch
wheat.
On wheat.
Tuna
Of course.
on wheat, absolutely.
Yes.
Two lemonades too. 10:30 in the morning lemonade. I don't know about that either.
I know it's supposed to be like a sandwich shop, but it has more of the look of like a place where you just get hamburger, hot dogs, and fries. I was kind of
like a
surprised
food
they
stand.
had a tuna and wheat on. Like,
Well,
what?
it's asking you to suspend disbelief for that moment.
I don't. I will not.
I love the shot though when he's at the food stand placing the order, and we kind of just do a little pan right, and you see the car pull up, which is really
Great
great.
shot.
So Keanu's back is to it, so he doesn't see them pull up.
Another piece of stellar police work. The only thing we're supposed to do during this entire day is watch this fucking bank.
Well, it's realistic.
Not only am I
right?
going to go get some treats, I'm going to turn my back away from the bank. Basically act like it isn't there.
We were eating. Sorry about the crime.
And then, by the way, another thing I noticed is Utah. He's ordering his tuna on whole wheat and the two meatball subs, and like, okay, like it's a great moment. Like he's turned around, he's making the order. The car pulls up, the ex-presidents pile out with guns drawn, run into the bank. Utah then turns around, and what does he see? An empty car idling in front of a bank. And then what does he do? He goes right back to the car with Busey, and he's like, "Here's your sandwich." Nothing to report.
Yours is the one that looks like a roadkill, which I think is a botched Keanu line, because then Gary Busey kind of makes fun of him and he's like, oh, a roadkill. And I think it just got left in, which is sort of nice.
Here's your sandwich. You'd been buried in that newspaper. Functionally, both of our eyes have been closed this entire time.
Why even be
Excellent.
there? Why
Yes.
even be there?
He gets like 2 bites into this meatball sub. And he's like,
Yes.
maybe we should check it out.
Yeah.
They're coming out. Shit. Oh, fuck. And then the meatball sub is going all over Busey.
Oh yeah.
That shirt is ruined. That shit, they've got marinara down there thing.
But
So they've leave the bank, and like any good law enforcement officer in America, Keanu just starts firing down the street at the fucking car. Of course.
Smart move.
the second you scream FBI, you need to start thinking about subletting the apartment you showed these guys. Like that's in the back. Definitely you're looking for headshots, but you're like, all right, so if I can go down the beach a little bit. You have to move. You have to move.
And we get a nice little chase scene here. First in the car, they
Great
try to
chase
ditch
scene.
the car at a gas station, which is awesome.
Oh my God,
I
it's
love
so good.
I gotta
Swayze's
say-
just lighting this fucking car on fire.
Yeah, the scene where he's like, we have to do some, what does he say? Emergency, trash disposal or something like that.
Yeah.
So like, he's like, he first of all, he douses the gas station attendant with gasoline and then breaks out a Zippo and he's like, don't do it, man. Don't do it. Then he uses the Zippo to light the nozzle on the gas pump and then he just sprays this fucking beautiful just arc of flame into this fucking car. And when I first saw this movie, as a kid, I was so blown away by this scene because I was like, wow, gas stations are everywhere. I've even used the gas pump. But if you were sufficiently committed, every gas station is just a flamethrower store too.
That's true.
But that's why Bigelow's fantastic. Is she takes the time to show how gorgeous and insane and chaotic this is, and a lot of action movies just wouldn't have that moment of an inventive gasoline flamethrower.
And another thing I really want to credit Bigelow for in this scene is it's the car chase, but then there is one of the rare, very successful and very thrilling foot chases in a movie.
Yes.
Because usually a foot chase in a movie kind of grinds the action to a halt. They never really work, in my opinion. Whereas this is very claustrophobic. It's exciting. Why does it work? Because there's a ton of property damage and a ton of dumbass civilians getting their shit owned.
Right.
It's that's the mark of a good action movie, is that in the midst of all the mayhem of a car chase, they take time to show innocent civilians also suffering and or dying.
Yes.
And the whole Steadicam, and you're running down those corridors. It is fantastic. On the gas nozzle thing, me and my brother as children kind of
Tried this?
Yes. We filled, not at a gas station, we filled up a Miracle Grow spray thing with gas and set it on fire, and it worked. And
Awesome.
we somehow didn't die, which is
Wow.
I think there's
Pretty cool.
There's a reality where I'm actually dead right now.
Yeah. Touched by God, I would say.
Yeah.
So much of that foot chase is successful because, parts of it look different. Will, like you were saying, they encounter different people. There's different houses they go in. So parts of it are memorable. So you could say oh yeah, there's the hilarious part where the lady is hitting him in the head with the vacuum cleaner, screaming get the fuck out of my, you remember parts of it. It's not just and then I jumped over that fence.
Dude,
He jumped over that fence.
Because Catherine Bigelow took the time to storyboard throwing a fucking dog at somebody.
Yes.
yes.
And speaking of Matthew Broderick, someone should have thrown one at Ferris Bueller.
Well, speaking of car accidents and Matthew Broderick, okay.
Yes, that's true.
That dude is a murderer. You're totally right. So yeah, the aftermath of this whole, shit shows, Busey's like, hey, I don't want to be a dick or nothing, but I think you made friends with these surfers. Yeah, no shit, dude. And he's the only one who's maybe you should not be as close to this as you are. And that whole discussion lasts 2 seconds.
But again, when you do the thing, Keanu, when you bust his knee up, because we know that his knee's busted, and he does the much parodied in Pot Fuzz, shoot at the sky bit.
Oh, sure.
You cannot return. You're at the Ramada, dude.
Yeah, that's
You're
it.
just at the fucking Ramada.
You're burned.
Yes, you're done.
They're reassigning you to the Omaha office to check fraud. You're done.
Well, I don't even know what the reasoning is. Is the reasoning because they think that he might not know, that?
How would he not know?
I don't know.
He looks back. There's they look at each other. He knows that that's him. How would he not also know that he knows that it's also him?
I was like you. I was having similar conniptions at the television when Bodhi and his crew, after the botched bank robbery, come into his fucking apartment. They're like, "Come on, dude, let's go hang out."
Yeah,
And
like,
he's
what
just
happened? Did they miss a reel? What happened here?
They're going to kill him. Like,
Obviously, I'm like,
kill him.
Keanu, what are you doing? Like, your cover is blown at this point.
Yes.
Like, they know you're not being like, get away. They're going to murder you.
Yeah.
But then I thought in the back, they're like, don't worry, we're not surfing. Then in the back of my mind, I know Keanu, Johnny Utah, in the back of his head is thinking like, there's a good chance. Well, there's 100% chance my cover's blown, but there's a very good chance they're going to murder me if I go to a second location with them. But what? Just hear me out for a second. I've never been skydiving. And what if these guys? I mean, it'd be a real thrill. And you know what? It pays off because it was awesome.
I would be kicking myself if I said
Yeah.
no to Bodhi
Yeah.
and missed a trip to skydive.
And it's also clearly, it would be very hard to fake a death going out of skydiving. I mean, how would you do that? It would be hard. I mean, how do you do it?
This initial skydive is like the movie forgot that they wanted the climax of the film to have skydiving in it, and then they're like, "Shit, maybe we'll set that in the morning then." Like, because like to do 2 skydives in a row like this kind of is insane. Like, you kind of do want that peppered in a little earlier, and then it's like, "Oh, remember when they went skydiving?" It's like, "Hey, remember when they went skydiving in the morning?" Well, they're doing it again in the early afternoon.
Yeah,
They
and
do
this
hot potato with the parachutes.
That's fun.
That's
Right.
fun.
and this was the night that Lori Petty finds his badge and does the whole
Yes.
Goodfellas scene with him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I love her shooting the pillow. That's
Oh, by the
fucking
way,
awesome.
I love but before she discovers he's an FBI agent, he's like, I have something to tell you, and I really think it could affect our relationship. And I'm like, you think? You think? And then she's like, don't worry, you can tell me another time.
Well, I'll say I'm very happy that the scene, like, she runs away and he tries to go after her, and you see very clearly a Keanu butt. It's fantastic.
for sure.
Look, it's very
Yep.
nice.
Because once again in this movie, they are both freshly fucked.
Wonderful.
Right, they are.
And then speaking of the skydiving scene where they all it's one of the many great moments of homoeroticism in this movie. But they all fall together and hold hands.
Yes.
And they're like, yes, this is awesome. Feels so good. Catherine walked into the room and she said, if you're just I was using the other room, and she goes, if you're just listening to this movie and not watching it, it sounds like they're having sex. It sounds like gay porn.
Totally. Get in. He says something like, "What's the line?" He's like,
Get in there,
link up.
Utah. Get in there. Hit that hole. Slap that hole.
Wow, they got quite the circle jerk in the sky.
I kind of want the internal monologue of like, you know what? This is actually working out. I think they didn't see me yesterday. They actually did not see me. Fire upon them. Cool. I can keep playing both angles, and also skydiving rules.
Yeah, but
Now I'm an addict.
it is sexual. It was reminding me a little bit like autoerotic asphyxiation, just because you're actively dying when you jump out of a plane and you pull a cord. You know,
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
But dude, with skydiving, v autoerotic asphyxiation, the difference is
sometimes you could use a belt.
Well,
There's a lot of choices.
no,
really.
I was just gonna say one with the skydiving, you really got to jerk that cord, to get the chute out.
Yeah.
With autoerotic asphyxiation, you got to play it a little safer.
Right,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you got to
yeah.
jerk that
Really.
dick at the same time.
Well, sure, yeah.
I mean, so they land, and this is where Bodhi is like, I'm so sorry, brother. I kidnapped your girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, and I put her, Rosie's in charge of her. He's probably killed her already. But no, wait, to say, when the compliment you can give a man that you've worked with for a couple years now is he has a gift of blankness.
That's
That's probably
I
not
also
great.
like
that
when
one on the
Bodhi
letter
says
of recommendation.
I also like when Bodhi, he's like, okay, come here. He's like, I got something to show you. And he's like, oh, okay, what is it? Is it more extreme sports? And he's like, no, it's, and he goes, it's an insurance policy. And he goes, look, it's going to sting, but it's all part of your self-growth problem. No, it's going to help you with your self-growth problem. And I just love, like, this is the guru. This is the spiritual psychopath. And that's why I think Bodhi is such a good villain in this movie.
Totally.
He was definitely a life coach in Australia in the intervening 9 months. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Well, Lori Petty makes a Moonanite reference at one point. She calls all the rest of the dudes Bodhi's Moonies, which I thought was kind of funny. I love this tape. Like when he turns on the fucking security tape or whatever it is, it just looks like a video from Saw.
Yeah.
Like, hello, Utah. You're just like, what is? Because she's like tied to the chair. She's gagged. Lee Turgison looking fucking creepy as hell in the background. Like, yeah. It's a good torture.
But you know, he
video.
also
I
has
want to play a game, an extreme game.
an X game, if you will.
Hey, Johnny, you ever ride a BMX bike down a ramp before? You will now.
Bodhi does have a good line there, and it's a great question too. Of like, why be a servant to the law when you can be its master?
That's right.
Right.
Great
Good
question. Hey, he's asking all the really important questions.
He
man.
is.
To which I think, because that's when they're in the van and, you know, Utah's like, but Bodhi, I am an FBI agent. Great fucking line.
Well, yeah, I knew that. I've known that for quite some time now. Thank
Dude,
you.
I don't know. Yesterday we got that scrape, if you remember, where you were firing a gun at me. Yeah, I kind of guessed that you were an FBI agent at that point as well.
I was on that fence and I got my pant caught on the fence, you know, and then you were going to shoot me and we were both looking at each other, but then you didn't. I knew it was you.
So now, with the threat of the mechanism hanging over Lori Petty's head, he basically, but like this is not just like because they have, James LeGros had a fucking bead on Keanu, and he like bats the gun out of the way. He's like, no. Because he's found a kindred spirit. The rest of these goofies, they may like to get radical, but they don't have the spiritual connection or hotness of Keanu Reeves. So like he wants to mentor him into a life of spiritual crime, and he's going to force him to take part in the ultimate rush, which is breaking federal bank robbery laws.
Oh, yeah.
Without a mask. And okay, so like he makes them do the last bank robbery, where they foolishly, for the first time ever, choose to hit the vault instead of just hitting the cash registers.
You're breaking your own rules.
He gets like, there's an undercover cop there. He gets like Carter and Lyndon Johnson killed. I mean, it's like, it goes really bad. But okay, I know we talked earlier, like they fucked up the raid brilliantly. They blew 3 months work from the DEA, killed a bunch of fucking innocent people. It went really bad. So like, after the bank robbery, like Utah's in cuffs and McGinley's like, keep those cuffs on him. And I'm like, okay, at this point in the movie, how the fuck does Keanu Reeves get his job with the FBI back?
No.
Because like McGinley's like, okay, like your partner, he's an accessory to murder. Like a cop got killed in the middle of this. Like the circumstances that led up to it, like really don't matter. He's like, oh, I was only taking part in this bank robbery because I skydived with them. And it was really awesome. It's like he's still a fucking Fed at the end of this movie. What happened in like between Australia?
Here's what it is. Will, I think I know what it is, because what happens is the end of the movie, they're in the office and everything, and John C. McGinley's like, all right, now the last time, why did you participate in this bank robbery that got a cop killed? And he just goes, because I'm an FBI agent. And they go, oh, wait, of course, you're a fellow cop. Oh, you can still have
I thought
your
it was
job.
just
Absolutely.
cans.
I thought I just shot cans.
Is there a least likable character than this cop that's off duty? I mean, every
asshole.
time this dude gets 3 in the chest, you're like, fucking finally.
Good.
Like, it's him and that old lady in Speed that gets her shit blown
Oh, yeah,
up.
get blown up, goes straight under the wheels of the bus.
God.
Yeah,
Beth
that's awesome.
Yes.
Okay,
She
another
went under the wheels.
just brilliant Catherine Bigelow moment in this movie is that when Bodhi takes it upon himself to just finally draw down on that fucking cop with his huge like Colt pistol, and he shoots him in the chest, and you get a brilliant squib moment, but then you get to see his body slide back on the bank marble floor for like 3 or 4 yards.
That's so
just
good.
skirt, like just yank the force of that fucking bullet hitting his chest, just pushes him across the perfectly smooth bank floor. It's so good.
I do feel bad though for the security guard, because he clearly had no interest in any of that smoke. And this asshole cop is like, oh, cop, you got to cover me. You got to back me up. He's like, don't do it. What are you doing? I'm
happens
literally
all the
getting
time.
minimum wage here. This is not worth my life. I can go be a greeter at Walmart, man, if they fire me. There's no reason for me to do this.
Man, I know these guys, like from other bank security guys, they're in and out in 90 seconds to shut the fuck up.
I think it would have been funny.
Just wait.
if instead of him going for it, be like, fuck it, let's be legends, and then getting murked, if he had just like stayed down. I told you not to do that, idiot.
or if he just calls them out like, dude, this guy's got a gun.
This guy's got a gun over here.
I'm helping.
I need fucking an MCU style stinger of watching that cop burn in hell, because that guy fucks everything up and he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I love that he's basically trying to tell the security guard that they're in the exact same position, because he's like, look, I got a gun on my belt that I can easily just slide my hand across my stomach and reach. You got a gun on your ankle, right? And the guy's like, yeah, and I'm also a big fat guy. Like, what the fuck do you think I can sort of slyly do here to get this weapon off my ankle? Come on.
I'm 58 years old, sir. What do you
just
want from me?
look at me.
Yeah, it's great. The youngest dude gets killed here as well.
Oh, Gromit?
Yeah,
Gromit.
little Gromit gets it.
And there was something in the Wikipedia that suggested that he's the younger brother of Bodhi. And like, I guess
Bodhi
I
calls
get-
him younger brother.
Yeah,
but
he keeps on saying that.
He says brother,
that
but I
could just
didn't,
be a
like,
term
think
of
that.
endearment among
That's what I
surfing
was- I
types.
figured
You know,
it
they're
was
all
that.
brothers.
Yeah.
They're brothers of the wave.
Yes, right. Yeah, exactly.
And he does look younger than him, so.
Yeah.
And he, because he loves him so much, Swayze still refuses to kill Utah. So he brings him to the airport, or no, actually, no, he leaves him in the bank, and this is what he
They
gets to
leave him
punch.
there.
Yeah, he gets to punch out John C. McGinley and another strike against him.
Busey punches
does
him.
it, yeah.
Oh, that's
Because
right.
he goes,
And then takes this guy
one-
who should be in custody, this guy who should be under arrest, and just
This
takes
guy-
him and takes the cuffs off.
This kid needs to be
Yeah.
he needs to be in a fucking in an interrogation room with his union rep. That's the next scene of this movie. It is
it's
not
such a, like, because Busey's like, what is it? He's like, oh, John C. McGinley, like, come on, don't take him out of here in a black and white. Like, let me take him. I'll give him a ride to the police station.
Take him out with the put him in a black and white and have SWAT fucking
yes.
trucks next to it. Like, fucking, what are you talking about? This person
Put a
gets
fucking
everybody
hood over his
killed.
head. I know you got one.
Yeah, I don't understand it, but yeah, he does the Judge Reinhold, Eddie Murphy at the end of Beverly Hills Cop. He's just like, well, I guess I'm gonna do this.
He lets him go, and you have to imagine John C. McGinley cackling when he finds out that Pappas got shot at an airfield.
Yes.
that day.
Yep.
Right.
That's what you get.
That's
Yep.
what you get. Just Robert De Niro, Cape Fear laughing about this fucking dead
Absolutely.
fake Greek Italian. But yeah, so this is the airfield scene. It's a big shootout. James LaGrosse gets fucking Gary Busey in the back with a shotgun. Ooh, that stings.
Blow.
It's awesome.
Blow. And
It's
again,
great.
they're so bad at their jobs. They just show up and they're like, and then at one point Keanu is like, "Where's the other guy with you?" And he's like, "I don't know, he's around here somewhere."
Yeah, he literally says, oh, he's around here.
They're so unprepared for everything they do.
You should be combing the area a little bit, like just
They
being like,
didn't
all
tell
right,
anybody else. They knew where these guys were, and they didn't tell anyone else.
I've got my back facing a warehouse. Hopefully he's not in there.
A person I just shot. Like, what, you don't even check your six? Like, what the
No.
fuck?
Yeah, he gets.
Oh
he
yeah,
gets
no. I shot this guy once in the side with my fucking 32 fucking snub nose. I'm sure he's out for the count.
He's gone. This young man, this young man who is athletic all day and all of the night.
They dragged him into the plane. I want to know what this pilot thought he was signing up for versus what he got.
This guy, it's a real, like, what the fuck did you think?
It's a bachelor party. We just want to fly over Mexico really quick.
Sure.
And there's like shots
Hey,
being fired.
can you take me and my friends to Tijuana, but fly under radar the entire way there?
All right, that's it. Shots fired. I'm not taking to San Felipe or whatever the town name is.
All right.
Oh, that's right. He tries to refuse a couple times.
Yes.
Like, you get the fuck back in that plane.
Get
All
in there.
right.
I was ready for one dead body, but this is 3. I can't do this.
Busey has a cartoonish death rattle
Of
right
course he
here
does.
too. It's so, but it's just like he's like he tries to say something, and it's not. We're not even bothering with any kind of last words of motivation or anything like that. And it's a really prolonged like. I love it so much.
I'm surprised he didn't quote extensively from Marmaduke before.
You're my favorite cartoon hound. Always used to say.
He's like, I like as like, like fucking like a dum round buckshot just like rips through his back, and then he's just like, oh, I hate Mondays.
That might have been in a different draft. You don't know.
Utah, get me lasagna.
two lasagnas.
So we're on the plane. James LaGrosse is really dying here.
Oh yeah.
I always love this. Keanu Reeves literally is like, "You're getting cold because the blood is getting out of your body, Roach. You'll be dead soon. Was it worth it?"
Yeah.
My name
kind
is
of
–
badass.
My name is Terrence, by the way. It's
Yeah,
don't call me Roach while I'm dying.
Yeah,
please.
I know that I smoked that Roach that one time, and everybody
get
thought
it.
it was hysterical 12 years ago. But yeah,
I
so
have a
what-
name.
he's dying. They Swayze chucking his half dead friend out and getting a legitimate "I'll see you in hell" out is one of my dreams. But you have to be in a
great.
near death situation. You can't just
You'll
say
be
it.
there soon.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think it's a thing where, like, Roach has thought about
Mhm.
what he's going to do with his final moments when they ever come. So he has this well rehearsed, like, whoever's doing it to me, I'm going to tell him I'll see you in hell.
It's a good
Even
move,
if it's
man.
a
And I mean,
wave.
like, the see you in hell and then immediately chucked out of a plane
Yeah.
to die in midair, probably.
Yeah. That's about as good a line delivery as you can get when you're bleeding to death about to fall out of a fucking airplane. Yeah, see you in hell is pretty appropriate at that moment.
Apparently, he survives enough to pull the chute, but then
Yes.
when they see his body on the ground, it's
Yeah.
just dead, which is a nice detail.
I like that shot with all the money scattering like that. That was
Yes.
pretty good.
Yeah.
But the bigger thing is, so fucking Bodhi says that does the sort of, what is it? Adios, amigo.
Adios, amigo.
Yeah.
Adios, amigo goes out, and then of course Keanu Reeves follows him, and he catches him in midair, and they pull the pair at the very last minute. He has a gun to his fucking head,
Yes.
Like
6
in
seconds, we're going to be meat waffles.
and he's like counting down. He's like, fine, fucking fine, and he drops the gun, pulls the chute. They both drop immediately on the ground.
It's a hard fall.
The knee needs to look like spaghetti.
Yeah,
Like
there's nothing left there.
I need a pie or something. Like it you can't walk anymore. If you had a bad knee before, you do not have a knee anymore now.
He should be on that beach in Australia using a cane or something. you
That'd
know?
be pretty cool.
Just a metal leg. One of
Or,
those,
put him into the RoboCop program.
Exactly. That would work.
Also something I would watch. Johnny Utah bot. Totally.
Yeah.
They let Rosie. Rosie shows up. They let Tyler out, and Tyler like rushes to him like, "Oh, I love you so much." It's like, no, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I'd
You
still be
li-
pretty mad at him. I'm
Yeah.
pretty mad.
Hey, remember when you used my parents' fucking death against me to get me in bed?
Sure.
I've been thinking about that for the last 36 hours, motherfucker.
Hey, remember you lying to me and seducing me? Got me inadvertently kidnapped by a psychopath who held me at knife point.
But the
In my
motion of the
underwear?
ocean was just
Yeah.
that good.
Yeah.
Yes, it was just best
Yeah.
sex. Best
Yes.
sex
I
ever.
don't know. Steve, I don't know. Like when you find yourself in the desert, and the people that you're with are the dude who kidnapped you,
yes.
another guy who you know was in on it, a dead body, and this dude who was admittedly kind of an asshole, but didn't actually kidnap you, even though he was definitely responsible for it.
Yeah.
You'll probably run to Keanu.
Yeah, and I guess he's also a 10, so that changes things, the math a little
Oh,
bit.
that certainly helps.
And she's like, "Oh, finally the police, but we're in Mexico, so this means nothing."
Yeah. I mean, and all that brotherly love that you were talking about, Will, like it evaporates because it happens like 2 times. In the bank, they're like, you cannot bring Gromit with us. You have to
Mhm.
leave him here
Yep.
to be chucked in the wagon and turned into grist or burnt or whatever. And then here, when I get James LaGrosse, it's like, you can hear it. It's like off, but you don't. He's like, we have to bury him. We have to do it.
Yes.
It's like Usual Suspects. And
Swayze wants to bury him.
and
right?
then and the mechanism is like, no, we can't. We have to go. So like the mechanism is the one who runs the show.
That is why he is the mechanism,
Yeah.
dude, because Swayze tries to veer off course and fuck around burying James LaGrosse here, Roach. And he's like, no. The mechanism says we got to go. Let's get in the car and go.
He seems pretty depressed about it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, even when we get to Bell's Beach, he
Oh,
seems
sure.
pretty down on
Well, that's what I
himself.
like about it is like when we finally get to Bell's Beach at the end, and Keanu's like, like they encounter each other. He throws the Reagan mask into the surf, and he's like, "It's over, Bodhi. You crossed the line. People lost their lives. They're dead." And then like you get the perfect distillation of Bodhi's like sort of Zen crime spiritualism, where he was like, "Yeah, it got bad." It got real bad, but doesn't mean I can't catch this wave though. So it's all about the surf. It's all about communing with nature. And it's like, dude, you got like all your friends killed. All
Yes,
of them.
yes.
Dead.
And
Your best friend,
but that's
your
just
brothers.
it. In my read of the scene, he had every intention of dying in the surf anyway, which is one more notch in the belt of terrible police officer for fucking Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, letting him do
He
that.
caught no one. If he had not showed up on the beach with all those Australian cops, the same thing would have happened.
Yes.
Right.
He would have won out and he would have died on the way.
And he's so
And
bad.
all he did was cost the Australian taxpayers like $100,000 for all the helicopters and machine guns they had to get out there for nothing. And then, of course, they got to hire a fucking dive team to go and scoop his ass out of the ocean. That's exactly what would have happened if he'd never done anything. He didn't catch anybody. Fucking Rosie got stabbed in a bar in Mexico. All he could do is identify the body afterwards.
But he arrives in Baja too late. That guy's dead. He misses Bodhi in Fiji by a week. Who the fuck's paying for all this?
It's a great question, dude.
And yeah, like, and to Matt's point, he's like, you got too far, Bodhi. Like, I mean, yeah, like this guy's a mass murderer. He's like a dangerous criminal psychopath. And he's like, come on, Utah. He's like, I can't handle like being in a cage. It's like, dude, yeah, I know. Like that's the point. No one likes it, but I mean, you're a murderer. Like, so yeah, I'm going to give you the opportunity to have this like perfectly beautiful, heroic death that you've planned your entire life, evading capture the entire time for your lengthy criminal career. But I mean, at that point, he's just, I don't know, an FBI agent in name only. I mean, the fact that he's not in jail is pretty stunning. And then he got this guy go.
He got to take a 9-month like semester at sea, courtesy of U.S. taxpayers, and then quit after not apprehending the guy he was chasing.
I
They should send his ass a bill.
And getting his partner blown away. Like,
I want to
also
watch
that.
I want to watch
Worst police officer, I think, in any film ever, who was like trying, like other than guys who were like actively double agent type guys.
Yeah.
The worst guy who was like ostensibly on the level, the most incompetent worst police officer in film.
Where at Quantico, like, and you are allowed to give the murderer one last request. It's like, I want to go. Hey, dude, I know I'm about to go in. They're showing Batman Returns up the street. Do you mind if I just dip in there for 2 hours? I've always wanted to do it. Man.
I love
I will be. Then I'll go in the cage. I promise.
The Australian cops yelling at him was great. Like, you let him go. What the fuck?
What the fuck, Utah? You let him go.
He's a little close of the ocean now.
But he throws his badge dramatically. But like, no, you're still kind of getting arrested too. Because like what you're doing, you just aided and abetted a fucking criminal, dude.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
Yep.
Again. Again. Like the 10th time.
He's not coming back. Or maybe he is. I don't know, man. Maybe he'll fucking swim it. You know what I mean? Either way, doesn't work.
Well, you just made a job for
Swayze.
somebody else who now has to go get his ass out of the water at some point.
He just has to convince 12 people to believe in a bromance. That's all he's got to do.
I love that he is the only FBI agent, and these are all like Australian cops at this point too.
Oh yeah. It's ridiculous, but it is, I think, the fact that they balanced the silly, like that's the thing I think Bigelow did a lot, very well in the 80s and 90s, is that she did balance the silly stuff with stuff that's actually gripping and like compelling in a lot of ways. Like this is ridiculous that this is happening. It's obscene and ridiculous. But I'm still like, I don't know, I'm with it. Like I'm still into
It's totally
the drama of
watchable.
it.
Yeah.
Well, they play it. I mean, and also like Swayze and Reeves, as silly and dumb as they are, they play it pretty well. You know what I mean?
They
You
do.
believe.
Oh, they're great. They're great.
Yes. Yeah, you believe it.
Yeah, I mean, Reeves does that whole thing. Will, you were saying about the like how he's like, you killed somebody, you did. I'm like, yeah, we watched the movie. It's like just wrapping things up. Let me remind you what the whole movie was, real quick.
But that is the end of the movie. We end on a tune from Rat, which definitely means that this is not a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
That was a great point you made at the top, Steve. Kind of weird that this soundtrack sucks so much. Not sucks, but it's kind of just really
weak.
forgettable.
Cut a week.
Yeah. But that is the end of Point Break from 1991, directed by Catherine Bigelow. We'll go around here. Final thoughts and any maybe recommendations or something. We'll start with our guest today, Will.
My final thoughts is, Point Break remains a classic action movie of the 90s. It's one of Catherine Bigelow's best movies. I'll just say it's a, cautionary tale about, some sports are too extreme, like murder and felony theft. And I guess I'll just say, like, the movie to recommend, Catherine Bigelow's Near Dark. I know Halloween's over,
so
but
good.
Man, oh man, what a fucking good vampire movie Near Dark is.
Totally. Matt?
Keanu Reeves, one of the most amazing careers in film history, just because at no point has he ever been good at acting at all. He's never given a good performance. He has never convincingly delivered a line.
Mhm.
And yet you still want to watch him. You still accept him in the movies. You still sort of, you grade him on a curve. And that just speaks to some ineffable charisma the man has. And it's certainly on display in this movie, where he is objectively terrible, but yet nonetheless very magnetic. And you know what? Another movie I recommend. I was looking at that gun website. It's the Internet Movie Firearms Database.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Got it.
And,
ATF stuff.
the cool gun that Swayze is carrying is actually not a 44. It's a 454 Casull, which at the time was the largest caliber handgun in commercial.
Oh my God.
Wow,
existence.
he's got a real god killer. Okay.
Well, now that
which was also carried by John Candy in the film Armed and Dangerous with Eugene Levy.
Oh,
yes,
an 80s
yes,
classic.
yes,
Also
classic.
about a robbery gang, but this time armored cars instead of banks. It's delightful.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Totally. Chris Cabin.
Yeah, I mean, I love this movie. I've loved this movie for years. I also, a couple weeks ago, just because I hate myself, I decided to watch the remake.
nice.
Never did
Yeah.
that.
It is it's so fucking bad. It's like they take all the silliness out, and it's just like good stunts, like footage, but not even cut together well. It's
Who's the dude? Is it Edgar Ramirez?
Yeah.
Edgar Ramirez is Bodhi,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
some nobody is Keanu Reeves's part, and
that's
then
what you want.
Delroy Lindo is McGinley.
Oh, interesting. He's
and that
he's
was
good.
Who's Pappas?
He's a
Who's Pappas?
Ray Winstone was Pappas.
Oh, wow.
Ray Winstone.
Yeah,
Is it still surfing?
No, it's a Ray Wilson. Yeah, Utah 4. Get me 4, Utah.
4 eel pies. Hey, I need 4 eel pies right now.
Oh, fuck it. And yeah, I mean, I even so seeing that just doubled down how much I love this movie, how much it's just been there for my whole life. Yeah, can't recommend it enough.
Eric Siska.
Yeah, no, I mean, this movie's insanely watchable. I always have a good time whenever I do watch it. And Keanu Reeves, he does have that charisma. I have no idea why Matthew Perry wants him dead.
What a prick.
I know,
That's
right?
such a shitty thing.
And it's like Matthew Perry's talking about this like he's some fucking artist.
Yeah.
Who are you, dude? You're not even half as good as Keanu Reeves is.
But in his defense, he finally made me laugh. So it's a recommend for me. Check out the movie.
Steve Sadek.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's and again, like I think I would love to watch Catherine Bigelow make a breakneck action movie that like has as little politics as possible. Would be fantastic for her. And get her out of movie jail. I also think that like it's to Chris's point, like the remake, like I just don't think we make like movies where like because the beginning of this movie is Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze, very much like two young up and coming movie stars, not people from CW series, not people that you saw on Netflix once, like real deal people that open movies are now going to face each other in some sort of a way. And I just don't think that there's, you could possibly, when you remade this movie or you're going to remake it again in 5 years, we don't have the farm system we used to have.
Yeah.
So there's no world in which you could make this movie again. So it's a bygone era.
Yeah, totally. And it's a huge, crazy run for Swayze too. Because I mean, like 87 was Dirty Dancing, Roadhouse 89, Ghost 90, and then this in 91. Like, dude, just flying.
Damn.
It's crazy. I mean, and then Keanu kind of like the same-ish, because like Speed was 3 years after this, and Bill and Ted had been before this. I think the first one anyway.
Bogus Journey is this year.
Yeah.
Is it this year?
As
Bogus Journey was
Point
this year?
Break.
Because Excellent Adventure is like 88 or something like that.
sounds
So
right.
like they're both kind of like right in this really interesting period of their career. And I'll just say another Keanu recommend is the film River's Edge.
Yes.
With him,
Great movie.
Crispin Glover.
Yep.
I Own Sky.
I think I'd at least
great
rate a
movie.
Michelob. My God. Also for Swayze, previous episode we've done good fun movie, Next of Kin.
Oh,
I love
shit,
that
I was
movie.
gonna
Say,
say.
I love
Hillbilly
Next of
Cops
Kin.
in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, it's great. But that is going to do it for this episode on Point Break. Will and Matt, thanks so much for popping in. And what do you guys got going on? Do you got more shows or what's happening?
No more shows for the rest of the year.
Okay.
Tour is over, but the show is where it always is, on Patreon and SoundCloud. Chapo Trap House. Check it out.
That is awesome. Thanks for stopping by. Come back anytime, guys. And as for here on We Hate Movies, of course, patreon.com/We Hate Movies. We are right in the middle of our We Love Movies month. A lot of special stuff going on the Patreon, including a Nexus episode all about Star Trek The Motion Picture. We got a We Hate Movies on Rotten Rid's Hannibal from 2001. What do we got on AD, Steve?
Nightmare Before Christmas. My wife Jen joined us for that. That's an episode that's super fun. We're also doing who are we doing on the Gleep Glossary there, Eric?
Oh yeah, the Gleep Glossary will be discussing the history and times of Chewbacca. So please tune into that.
Finally happening.
We going to talk about his death, dude? His
His death, yeah. No, he gets crushed by a moon, and we're going to talk about it.
I love that.
And then here on the main feed, the free feed as it is, the show continues next week, Steve, with what motion picture will we be talking about?
Totally sort of by accident because we're not very good at picking stuff. We are continuing the career of Keanu Reeves the very next year with Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Francis Ford
Hell yeah.
Coppola's Bram
Yes.
Stoker's Dracula.
Which rules the fucking
We
screen.
shall be
does.
married when I return.
Yeah, Matt, if you want to talk about blown lines and bad accents, Keanu all over that movie. But that is going to be a lot of fun talking about werewolf fucking and bad accents and shadow play. So until next week with Bram Stoker's Dracula, I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Eric Siska.
Chris Cabin.
Matt Christman.
Will Menaker.
Take it easy.
That was a HeadGum podcast.